And let's begin by telling you that in a decisive ruling, the Supreme Court has reinstated Samuel Anyanwu as the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The lead judgment delivered by Justice Jamilu Tukur of the Apex Court held that the case filed by Emmanuel Anyanwu at the Enugu High Court was purely an internal party matter, thereby stripping the lower court of jurisdiction. The Apex Court ruled that Sunday Ude Okoye not being joined in the case means that Anyanwu Emmanuel lacks the legal rights to have instituted the matter at the Enugu Division of the Federal High Court.
For the record, the Supreme Court held that the matter filed by Emmanuel Anyanwu at the Enugu High Court relates to the leadership position of the PDP, that is National Secretary of PDP. And that is an internal affair of the PDP, and therefore the court lacks jurisdiction. Secondly, that the said plaintiff, Anyanwu Emmanuel, lacks the local standing to pursue that suit, that he was a meddlesome interloper, and therefore ought not to have filed the suit at all. And the courts ought not to have entertained it at all. And therefore the judgments, the concurrent judgments were all set aside.
In the last 4 years, I've been bruised. But thank God, today is the end of it all. I thank our party veterans across the country, the leaders, my friends, my lawyers too, who have worked assiduously to ensure that justice prevails. So for me, I have not defeated anybody. I'm here to continue my work as National Secretary of the party, pending when the next convention will come. Probably I'll find my way out or I'll move on with life. But as now, as it remains, till 9th December 2025, I remain the National Secretary of PDP. And I'm here. I didn't win anybody. It's just a conflict of the family. But I believe that people should learn how to be honest about issues.
And let's head to the National Assembly, where both chambers approved President Bola Tinubu's request for a state of emergency in Rivers State, while the House of Representatives introduced key amendments to ensure flexibility and accountability. The Senate's approval followed a closed-door session where lawmakers reached a consensus on the president's request. News Central's National Assembly correspondent Tegir Ibrahim has more.
Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajuddin, read the President's proclamation, which invoked Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, suspending the Rivers State Governor, his deputy, and members of the State House of Assembly following escalating political tensions. Following deliberations, lawmakers approved the request through a voice vote by the majority of the 243 members in attendance.
I wish, in view of the grave and urgent situation that has necessitated its issuance, to particularly commend this proclamation to the House of Representatives for consideration and approval in line with the Constitution.
However, the approval was not without concerns.
It is in the integrity and interest of this House, Mr. Speaker, for you to announce the quorum as we are seated, so that Nigerians will know that we are not circumventing the Constitution.
The President should be given opportunity to amend, return the positions of declaration, but with review of the state of emergency at any given time.
Lawmakers also introduced key amendments to ensure flexibility and accountability in the implementation of the state of emergency.
I listened to Mr. President's proclamation, where he said that the sole administrator will be reporting to the Federal Executive Council. Mr. Speaker, I disagree, with that position.
I want the House to note that today's plenary is being attended by 243 members based on our attendance registers. Just for records, we are more than satisfied the requirement of this particular amendment. So, honorable colleagues, with your kind permission, I put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, as events unfolded in the Green Chamber, proceedings in the Senate followed a similar path. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, read President Tinubu's correspondence referencing Section 305 of the Constitution, which grants the President the power to declare a state of emergency.
The main features of the proclamation are as follows. A declaration of a state of emergency in one state of the Federation, namely Rivers State.
Following this, Senate Majority Leader Okpeyemi Bamidele moved a motion to prioritize the President's request on the Senate's agenda.
That we reorder the agenda on the order paper to enable us take for the first order of the day, stating the proclamation. I so move, Mr. President.
A mild argument ensued when Bayelsa Senator Seriake Dixon raised a point of order, demanding that the Senate revert to Order 135 of its rules and enter a closed session to continue deliberations.
Let's not argue. I'm not arguing with you. I'm only saying, please allow me to preside. Allow me to preside.
The Senate eventually upheld the motion, after which the lawmakers entered an executive session. Upon returning from the closed-door session, the Senate approved the President's proclamation endorsing key resolutions.
The Senate further resolved that a committee to reconcile the warring factions in Rivers State should consist of eminent Nigerians. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the closed session?
With both chambers now aligned, focus shifts to the successful implementation of the state of emergency and its impact on restoring stability and reconciling aggrieved factions in Rivers State. In Abuja for News Central, Sagir Ibrahim.
Meanwhile, emergency rule has been fully activated in Rivers State with the resumption of the sole administrator in Government House, Port Harcourt. While some are still lamenting the emergency rule declaration, others have moved on. Our correspondent Biola Festus has more.
At exactly 12:17 on Thursday, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, the sole administrator of Rivers State, arrives Government House in Port Harcourt. It's a new era, for a new sheriff is in town. The streets are calm as usual, except for the patrol of security personnel. As for some residents, they have accepted their fate.
People are really bitter, and it's not supposed to be so, because the ex-governor is not supposed to have an issue with the present governor, no matter anything. His time has passed and shall allow that person to rule. Let him focus on the federal as the minister of the FCT.
The state is going to an anarchy. So Mr. President saw that there is nothing to do than to set sole administrator to calm the place down. From my understanding, it's a welcome development.
The Supreme Court had ruled that federal allocations of Rivers State be withheld following the brewing political tension. Notwithstanding, the sole administrator has gotten assurances of the presidency that funds would be released for a smooth running. However, this does not sit well with some stakeholders in Rivers State who believe this is an injustice.
Let us see if there will be a lasting peace, if the essence of this arrangement is to broker peace between the warring parties in quotes. And if nothing is done, then we're in trouble. But I see this as a way of plundering the resources of Rivers State. As a Rivers man, I'm very much concerned. The money that they said will not be, the allocation that will not be released to the governor, now has been released to the sole administrator. What a funny world.
Meanwhile, civil society organizations in Rivers State at a press briefing are calling on the Attorney General of the Federation to provide them with proof of unrest in Rivers State.
This declaration is particularly alarming as it comes in the midst of an orchestrated political crisis driven by vested interests operating both within and outside the state. Instead of addressing the root causes of the conflicts, such as the unconstitutional maneuvers of a factionalized state House of Assembly, openly backed by the federal government, the president has opted to penalize the entire state. We take strong exception to the Attorney General of the Federation's claims linking the governor to an alleged security threat in Rivers State. These assumptions are nothing more than an orchestrated attempt to justify the unconstitutional declaration of emergency rule. We challenge the Attorney General to provide credible evidence of any genuine security threats. Rivers State has remained peaceful under the leadership of the governor, despite ongoing provocations.
The due process of investigation should be allowed to take its course. You understand the Rivers State Police Command also announced that they arrested 2 people. Where are those 2 persons? What are they saying? So the thing is, we don't need to jump the gun on this matter. Let the proper investigation should be done. Let whoever is culpable in the explosion be held liable. But the onus lies on the Attorney General to provide proof where they exist. And also, this is also false the federal government position, because assuming the bomb blast could have been traced to any man-made issue, the thing to have done was to reinforce the security agencies in the state to deal with the threat and not demolish the democratic institutions.
The criminal justice system of Nigeria, yes, has been compromised, but still, we pray to go further through legal litigation if he has failed to listen to the recommendation we have made.
Residents are wondering if Rivers State will be better for it now that a sole administrator is in charge. Will the new sheriff, whose power is not absolute, do better than an elected governor? Will the sole administrator leave at the expiration of the initial 6 months, or there would be an extension? These and many more are the questions many Rivers residents are asking. In Port Harcourt, for News Central, Biola Festus.
In the meantime, the acting governor of Cross River State, Peter Ode, has disassociated himself from the statement allegedly issued by the chairman of the South-South Governors Forum opposing the decision of President Bola Tinubu to suspend the River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara. In a statement signed by his press secretary, Fred Abua, Ode noted that he was neither consulted nor was his opinion sought before the issuance of the statement. He said the opposition, or rather the position of the forum, does not reflect the views of the government of Cross River State, which fully aligns with the decision of the president taken in the best interest of national security, peace and stability. And now to discuss this, we're joined by a member of the PDP in Delta State, Lucky Iguyota. Lucky, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate you for doing this with us this afternoon. Let's just get started. What will be your reaction to the approval of the state of emergency in River State by both the Green and Red chambers?
Thank you. Good evening. My immediate reaction will not be any different from the reaction of well-meaning Nigerians of conscience, Nigerians of sanity stock. Now, the issue is this. The suspension of the governor, the illegal suspension of the governor remains illegal in every respect, because the president have that he overreached his boundaries as the president of Nigeria, who has sworn to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, the Section 305 is cited while carrying out this illegality, didn't permit the president to suspend an elected governor. The governor is an elected governor as the president is an elected president. They both for to defend Constitutional Republic of Nigeria. Now, the politics it's what is pinned the president to.
And you're welcome back. We are continuing with our discussion on the emergency rule on Rivers State. And joining us is a member of the PDP, Lucky Igotoa. Mr. Lucky, what is your take on the position of the Cross River State government on the emergency rule?
My position is very clear. The president faulted in his action. Our constitution doesn't permit him to do what he has done. What he has done is an illegality. And he doesn't have any right to suspend the sitting governor, an elected governor, just as he was elected by the people of Nigeria in the 2023 presidential election. Governor Similaye Fubara was also elected by the people of Rivers State. So the governor is entitled to a 4-year term. And this act of his has set a bad precedent for our country and is not to joke with. It's a very serious issue. It might just favor some political interest today, because I've been listening to conversations in national TVs. I've been watching the social media. I've been seeing the trends. I've been seeing the trends all over. But I can assure you that we are setting a precedent that might cause damage to our democracy in the future. We must all come together and condemn this act of the president. I still believe that the president have a chance to correct the erroneous action. From what I've been told or hear some top political players say, that the president is trying to do some adjustment. I just pray and hope that is true. Then again, there are implications of this action, economically, environmentally, socially, and otherwise. Now, talking about the economical implication, don't forget our budget is being sponsored by crude oil produce. Crude oil produce from the Niger Delta, of which Rivers State is one of such states. Rivers State is a major player in the oil and gas sector of our country. The energy of this world is becoming infinite, if not for the energy mix we have been canvassing for those of us in the energy sector. Now we have caused political tension in Rivers State, and that might cause some sort of reaction from people that are supporting the governor, or people that hold divergent view or contrary view to what the erstwhile governor, that is Wike, the minister of FCT, and also the action of the president. Now, people have contrary views. This can escalate to becoming actions, to giving birth to actions that will be inimical to our economy. If they start tampering our national assets, it's not going to go well for even the federal government and Rivers State government, also the region. Now, if they start breaking the pipes today, are tampering our oil asset, there will be a lot of environmental issues, and that is not going to make any sense. We have Ogoni there. The UNEP report in Ogoni. Nobody has been able to push for the cleanup. There have been talks here and there, blah, 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 but nobody has answered it. Now, if we degrade the entire Rivers State, Bayelsa State, Delta State, Akwa Ibom State, degrade the environment because of this action of the president, if the Niger Delta people react, for those that feel aggrieved and they want to react, it's not going to help any of us. Let nobody deceive the president. Oil is still our mainstay, and the Niger Delta play host to the oil produce of this country. Governor Similaye Fubara and his boss, ex-governor Nyesom Wike's political disagreement should not drag Nigeria into years that we have gone past.
All right.
We got to a point in this country where hovering around 600,000 barrels per day.
All right.
Today we are meeting our OPEC quota because of a lot of activities. There are a lot of conscious effort of the government, I mean the federal government. Why would the government want to thwart its own effort because of just two persons, Fubara and Wike? Nigeria is above Fubara and Wike and also above the president. So I condemn it in its entirety. I want to believe that the president should try and retract and reorganize himself to see that this thing is properly handled so that it doesn't snowball.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you for your insight there. Loki Gotoa, he is a member of the PDP, giving us a bit of insight there regarding the emergency rule for Rivers State. Let's move on away from Rivers and now to court matters. The long-running legal battle involving the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, took a dramatic turn at the Federal High Court in Abuja. At the commencement of proceedings, Kanu's new lead counsel, Kanu Agabi, he extended a formal apology on behalf of his client to the former presiding judge, Justice Binta Nyako, lead prosecutor and senior advocate Adegboyega Awomola, and his own legal team. Agabi informed the court that his client had acted out of anger in the past, describing Kanu's previous statements as unjustified and called for a fresh approach towards his client based on reconciliation and justice. The case was then adjourned to April 29th, May the 2nd, and May the 6th. The Federal High Court sitting in Lokoja on Thursday granted an interim injunction restraining INEC from receiving, accepting or acting on any petition containing alleged fictitious signatures of purported members of Kogi Central Senatorial District and conducting any referendum upon such petition for the purpose of initiating a recall process of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, pending the determination of the motion on notice to the same effect. The court granted the application following an ex parte application for interim injunction supported by an affidavit of extreme urgency together with other court processes sworn by Anebe Jacob Ogirima for himself and for others who are registered voters and constituents of Kogi Central Senatorial District of Kogi State. The case has been adjourned to 6th May 2025 for report of service and further mention. Away from that, Nigeria's economic hub is home to nearly 20 million people, yet access to affordable housing remains a major challenge. Skyrocketing rents and exorbitant property prices are pushing residents to desperate measures. News Central's Samaya Abubakar reports on the housing crisis in Lagos. Take a look.
In Lagos, the dream of having a roof over one's head is fast becoming a luxury.
My landlord called me. He's not in Nigeria. He called me. He told me that the apartment that I am occupying that is going to be 1.5 million from 600,000.
A lawyer appeared from nowhere 3 weeks to the expiry of my rent, and is serving me a notice of increase in rent, and is both a notice of increase and a notice to quit. So it's you either pay or you quit.
2000, when I moved to this mainland, I called my sister and said that I think I'll be able to buy a house here in the next 5 years. And I think this is the 5th year now I'm here. That dream has been totally dashed.
Real estate agents, often acting as middlemen, are accused of worsening the crisis.
The rent issue, housing issue in Lagos has become something that is more of a cartel between the agents, the lawyers, and the house owners.
You have to budget. The rent should be 3 million, and it's always 10% of your rent. The agents will take, if it's 3 million, the agent's gonna take 300,000 naira. Agreement should be 300,000. Caution will be 300,000.
While developers blame economic challenges, some landlords are accused of exploiting the housing shortage.
The effect began in late 2023. So since that time, we've had a big jump in prices of building materials, and we have been left with no option than to also increase the prices of the houses we sell.
I know of a very close friend that his house in this Bucknor, it's a 30-bedroom flat. It's not charging up to 800,000 naira. Whereas you go to another street, very close to your home, a 2-bedroom flat goes for about 2.6 million. It's individual differences. People do what, therefore, because there's no control, everybody acts on his own. Nobody controls.
Everybody want to chip into real estate. They call real estate the best business. And now they are overpricing because of their greed. They want to make so much fast money. You want to build a house for 100 million and you want to sell it for 500 million.
Many helpless residents, unaware of their housing rights, are calling for urgent government intervention.
The courts have held that landlords cannot review rent unilaterally. It is something that must be agreed as between the landlord and the tenant. A landlord cannot just wake up. The same way they agreed initially as to the original rent, that is the same way they must agree as to the review of the rent.
The government should, in fact, what is this grammar they always use in the government setting? Declare a state of emergency on housing in Lagos State. It has gotten to that level.
The overpricing is leading to an increase in rent and is messing up. Our inflation at the moment is 80% artificial. And one of the costs is the overpricing that is going on in the real estate sector. And it has to be looked into.
Attempts to get response from government officials were unsuccessful.
The Lagos housing deficit is not just a statistics. It is a reality affecting millions. The cracks in the mega city is all too visible as every day Lagosians are left searching for shelter they can afford. Will real solutions come soon, or will this crisis worsen? Only time will tell. In Lagos, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
As climate challenges continue to intensify globally, young innovators in Nigeria are breaking new grounds with solutions to build resilience and safeguard communities. As some of these innovators converge on the nation's capital, Abuja, the need to match innovative solutions to adequate funding has been identified as key to tackling climate change in the country. Our correspondent Idong Joseph has more on this.
Climate change remains one of Nigeria's daunting challenges, affecting agriculture, livelihoods, and the overall well-being of communities. As the crisis intensifies, youth-led initiatives have begun to emerge to address these challenges. Young Nigerians like Samson Ayomide, who led the initiative to convert agricultural waste into organic fertilizer, and Abdul Salim Usman, leading his team to transform plastic waste into reusable items, all demonstrates the potential of youth-driven sustainable climate action.
I grew up in an underserved community that was at the receiving end of climate crisis. We had waste being dumped, and so it was up to me to turn what looks like a plug into an advantage for us.
We were 4 students in Usman Danfodio University, a very hot region in Nigeria, as we all know. So we had to come up with a solution that would, at the end of the day, make tree planting safer and a more secure solution for the environment.
While young innovators are stepping up with sustainable solutions, they continue to face significant barriers, from lack of funding to inadequate policy support. This is currently being addressed by development partners, some of who have expressed their desire to help solve the challenge of funding.
Climate change has an immediate effect on Nigeria's economic and security situation already today. Though less visible than other sources of conflict, its effects are very real. It is for this reason that Germany and the German government is ready to take on its responsibility as an industrial nation whose contribution to climate change is, of course, much greater than that of Nigeria.
Experts say for climate action to be sustainable, youth engagement must move beyond mere participation to actively driving solutions that are impactful and lasting.
Young people are not just the future, they are the present, and their voices must be heard in the decisions that shape Nigeria's climate policies, especially with regards to the Nigerian nationally determined contributions.
As Nigeria continues to confront the reality of climate change, ensuring young people lead sustainable initiatives are vital to building a safer and more sustainable future. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
Women across the globe have been challenged to make themselves available in contributing their quota to ensure their voices are heard in activities that matter in society. The call was made by the chairperson of the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, Plateau State Chapter, Nene Ding, as members marked this year's International Women's Day in Jos, the state capital. News Central's Chizoba Anyowe was there and now reports.
In collaboration with the Bukuru B Division of the Plateau State Police Command, the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists took to the streets of Bukuru area of Jos to intimate members of the public, especially women, on their expectations in society. Nene Dung is the chairperson of NAWOJ on the Plateau, and this is her take on the rights of women.
This is more or less like a Muslim-dominated area. So we decided to bring this awareness to them, to let them know that the rights does not cover one section of the society. It covers all sections of society. The Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law, the Gender Equal Opportunities Law, the Child Rights Law. It protects everyone, irrespective of religion, irrespective of culture. And that is why we have come out to tell these women that when they're suffering, they shouldn't suffer in silence. We are here, we can help them escalate their problems. And that is why we even shared flyers with our phone numbers on it and asked that everyone that has a challenge should be able to speak up.
Other stakeholders believe that if given the opportunity, women would assume their rightful positions in the society.
As children, they have rights, they equally have responsibilities to the society. So by so doing, catching them young, it will help. As they grow up, they will go with these tenets of human rights.
Women's right is also human rights. Our rights are not different from that of the men, so we should not be treated differently from the men. And when we talk about gender equality, we're not saying that we want to take over from the men. We're not saying that women should fight or compete with their men, but we're simply saying that let there be a level playing ground for women to be themselves. Let there be equal opportunities.
I think women should be given the right to express themselves. If women should be given the right to express themselves, I think they will even do more than the men.
With the theme, Accelerate Action, everyone is urged to make meaningful contribution for a better and safer society for women and the girl child. In Plateau State for News Central, Chizoba Anyowe.
In the coming weeks, as the rainy season approaches, farmers will be busy preparing their land for cultivation and planting. Many have already begun clearing their fields, with some tilling the soil in anticipation of rains that will soften the earth for planting. However, for many women engaged in agriculture, farming remains a struggle due to financial constraints and the challenges within the sector's value chain. News Center's Chinwe Ugeli reports.
For most women farmers, agriculture is limited to subsistence farming due to a lack of funding and access to the knowledge needed to expand their skills. To address this, wife of Nigeria's President, Oluremi Tinubu, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, is providing incentives and technical training for women farmers across Abia State's 3 senatorial districts. During the launch of the initiative in Umuahia North local government area, wife of Abia Governor Priscilla Oti, speaking on behalf of the Nigerian First Lady, expressed confidence that the program would not only enhance food security, but also improve the economic prospects of women farmers.
Your participation in this program demonstrates your passion for agriculture and your desire to make a positive impact in your communities. Let us work together to build a brighter future for our state, where agriculture thrives and our people prosper.
Some of the women who have benefited from the training say they now feel better equipped to overcome obstacles in their farming activities.
Trainings on the practices of how to cultivate cassava, vegetables, how to produce both organic and inorganic manure. This year now we know how to put the cassava stem. And another thing that I learned yesterday was they taught us how to do organic fertilizer.
Others are calling for more farm equipment to improve productivity and increase their harvest, while also raising concerns about cattle invasions that often destroy their crops.
Fertilizer, na ọka, n'ọgụ, n'osisi akpụ, na ihe ha na-etinye n'ubi, na ọgwụ a na-eji agba maka ọka ihe na-erishi ọka.
We need more support in our farmer by giving us enough place. We need support, land, and money to support our farmers, our farm.
Fertilizer
Empowering women farmers is key to encouraging greater participation in agriculture and boosting economic independence. However, beyond subsistence farming, providing access to mechanized agriculture will significantly enhance productivity and ensure greater food security.
Every year on March 20th, the world celebrates International Francophonie Day, a moment to appreciate the richness of the French language and culture. In Lagos, primary school pupils and secondary school students embrace this theme through a lively French contest featuring quizzes, spelling bees, music and drama. Our correspondent Oluwakemi Alimi completes the report.
This 2025 International Francophonie Day focuses on the theme Je m'éduque, donc j'agis. I educate myself, therefore I act, emphasizing the importance of education in promoting sustainable development and peace by fostering committed and responsible generations. Given Nigeria's strategic location in West Africa, surrounded by Francophone countries such as Benin, Niger, and Cameroon, speaking French becomes even more crucial. This geographic proximity highlights the importance of French as a tool for regional communication, trade, and cooperation.
Hello, bonjour, je m'appelle Oluwatosin Additional. It's very important to be bilingual, notably in this case, English and French, because French language has about 321 million speakers in the world. It's a language spoken on all 5 continents. So looking to the future in terms of business, trade, economy, even media and communications, international relations, French is actually the language of international diplomacy.
Here in Lagos, primary school pupils and secondary school students have also gathered to celebrate the International Francophonie Day with an exciting French contest organized to promote linguistic skills and cultural appreciation. The event provides a platform for young learners to test their proficiency in a fun and competitive environment. Their smiles and laughter are a testament to the fact that French is not just a subject in school, but a fun and exciting language to learn.
I really like the French language because it helps you to communicate with other people in French country like Benin Republic, like France, and like Togo and the rest. I'll say I like the word manger because the word manger means to eat. Je m'appelle Solomon Wisdom.
Well, I also got to say some things in French.
C'est la journée internationale de la francophonie 2025.
By learning French, Nigerians can tap into the economic, cultural, and educational opportunities available in the Francophone world, ultimately strengthening Nigeria's position in the region.
La langue française est intéressante et amusante à apprendre. Elle est bénéfique en Afrique et dans le monde entier. À Lagos, pour la télévision de News Central, je suis Oluwakemi Alimi. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Oluwakemi Alimi.
Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has been sworn in as Namibia's first female president and 5th leader. Chief Justice Peter Shivute administered the oath to her on Friday during the nation's 35th Independence Day ceremony at the State House. Outgoing President Nangolo Mbumba handed over power to Nandi-Ndaitwah at the ceremony that had to be moved from the Independence Stadium because of rare heavy rains. She won the election late last year with more than 57% of the votes cast, with Panduleni Itula, her closest rival, getting 26% according to the Electoral Commission. But Itula rejected the outcome, saying the election was deeply flawed. She has pledged to transform Namibia's economy and unite the people after political divisions split the nation. The Liberia Football Association has officially petitioned FIFA following their controversial 2026 World Cup qualifier defeat to Tunisia. The Lone Stars lost narrowly to the Carthage Eagles in Morocco, but the LFA claims biases officiating unfairly favored Tunisia. The association argues that Liberia was denied 2 clear penalties, significantly impacting the match's outcome. Liberia insists that these decisions could affect their standing in the qualification group and wants FIFA to review the officiating. The petition highlights ongoing concerns about fair play in African qualifiers as the LFA seeks a response from FIFA regarding their grievances. And that's all we can take at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Supreme Court has reinstated Sam Anyanwu as National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Cross River government has backed the emergency rule in Rivers, disowned South-South governor's position as Fubara's team blames Wike for pipeline attacks. And we also told you that Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has been sworn in as Namibia's first female president. As always, you can always send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number now showing on the screen. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422. You can also find us on GoTV channel 23 or on StarTimes channel 274. Find us on Avo TV and stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV.